You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
It is 9:11 right here on irlonestar.com and Lone Star Community Radio's Mornings with Lone Star. Like I said, I'm going to have a special guest in the studio today. We have Kalypso Wellness Center, who's opening up a new center over there in Shenandoah, Texas, in Montgomery County. And in the studio, I got David and Jennifer representing them today, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, and especially what services they offer to the county, especially if you know somebody in need of help in different areas. We're going to learn about how we can help those people by connecting you to Kalypso. So in the studio, we have David and Jennifer. How are we all doing this morning?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for being here, David. And Jennifer, hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's good to hear. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in a little time. That's right. And David, from what I understand, is you are the owner of Kalypso.
I am one of the owners.
One of the owners.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Kalypso has multiple areas to facilities, I guess, or buildings or whatnot. And then you also work with hospitals, I imagine. So this is the first standalone building being built here in Montgomery County, correct?
That's exactly right. We are just south of 242 in Shenandoah and just in the Woodlands Marketplace, and very glad to be there. We are the first in Montgomery County to provide and pioneer these treatments for depression, anxiety, PTSD, migraine, and chronic pain, as well as a few other things that really a lot of people in our marketplace suffer from.
And Kalypso is open how often? Like, is it 24/7, or is it this new facility?
Yeah, great question. We're open Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 5:30, although we will open up on Saturday for special needs and patients who need that.
So I'm trying to understand, say I'm a person who has bipolar disorder.
Sure.
How does one go about getting involved with Kalypso? Is it just like I go in and I make an appointment and then I have to wait and then I get, do I get treated? Is it treatment? Is it just, they just help out? Or tell me about that.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked because it'll give us the opportunity to talk a little bit about the whole process. And so once you have gone through these types of things like depression or PTSD, and we can focus on PTSD because it's so close to our heart with a lot of people. There's very few people probably in your listenership who don't know someone or themselves who are suffering from PTSD, whether it be military, whether it be just a personal experience that they had, first responders, people like that who go through that every day. What we would like is just to have them go to the website and learn a little bit more about us at kalypsowellnesscenters.com. From that perspective, or they can just Google Kalypso with a K, and they will find us very easily on the web. They'll also find our locations, and the contact for each of those is the same mainline number that'll direct you to the location closest to you. Once you find that out, we go ahead and do a little bit of a phone interview to understand exactly what it is that you're looking for from a treatment perspective.
Okay.
We understand what you're currently going through on a treatment perspective if you're dealing with a therapist in the case of PTSD, or physicians who have worked with you on medications, and then we'll schedule an appointment. We typically have appointments within 24 hours time of your first call, and then we'll love to see you. The appointment takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we simply just get a chance to do a brief interview with the patient, help to understand what their expectations are with the treatment, talk to them about ways that they're going to get better, and then provide the IV infusion treatment.
And one thing I want to let people know, if you visit the website, kalypsowellness.com, they have locations in New York and North Carolina and in San Antonio and Corpus here in Texas. So if you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, there are locations around the country, especially because the most important thing, I imagine, is to get help. And the starting point is to contact Kalypso, right?
Absolutely right. I think, one of the things that's really true to our heart, we all come with a medical background of some sort, whether it be a practitioner in the business of medicine. And our mission is to help patients with ailments that not just affect them, but affect their entire circle. So we see the people that come to us, and it's their spouses, it's their children, it's their employers and employees, it's their coworkers that are really affected by these types of disorders, which change people's lives. And so the goal of ketamine and the ketamine treatment is to reset them to before they had the feelings of depression, anxiety, PTSD, and things of that nature, to get them back to the life that they were originally used to.
Yeah, folks, if you want to learn more information about ketamine, you do have a whole section dedicated on the website to it. Sitting right in front of you, I imagine somebody in scrubs, and I'm guessing she's the one that will be dealing with a potential. Do you call them client or do you call
Patients?
them patients?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're patients for our clinic.
Who's sitting in front of you right now?
So we have Jennifer Lehman, our practitioner, and Jennifer can talk about a couple of experiences. We've been opening the new location here in the Woodlands for about 2 weeks now, and we've gotten to see over 20 patients so far. And we have had experiences in San Antonio where we were founded for the last 2 years. And she'll talk a little about a couple of patient experiences that she's had and gotten to see some of the results just as quickly as after one treatment.
All right, Jennifer, tell me about it. Tell me about the location here in the Woodlands and how you help people.
Okay, like David was saying, we've been open for about a month now in the Woodlands, and we are seeing patients currently Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, and we're hoping to also open up some Saturdays if we need to for patients. And I wanted to just kind of describe two situations that we've had with patients that might hit home to a lot of listeners today. We saw a patient in our San Antonio office who's a veteran who suffered from PTSD for 30 plus years. He came in for a total of about 4 infusions, and even after the first infusion, his nightmares that he had had for 30 plus years were gone. And even now, 9 months after his treatment, he hasn't had any nightmares, and so we feel in this situation that the patient has fully recovered from his PTSD and does not suffer from those nightmares that he was having for 30 plus years. We also have a patient in the Woodlands that we saw for migraines. And after her first treatment, we always follow up within 24 to 48 hours, see how our patients are doing, and then we also follow up a week afterwards and then a month out. But this specific female who was having migraines for several years, just debilitating, had to take several days off from work, really affected her quality of life after her first infusion. We called her, and about 3 days out, she said she felt like a completely different person. She didn't have a headache. She was putting her makeup on in the morning, noticed she was smiling in the mirror, and she's not normally a morning person. She said it was very hard to describe, but she felt like a completely different person. And so even just after that first infusion for her, she did extremely well also.
So, Jennifer, you need to tell the folks how to get contact with the local area here with Kalypso at the Woodlands. What's the best way? Do they tell them the phone number again and how to get there and things like that?
Sure. The phone number is 1-800-801-1019, and it will be myself or our nurse, Kimberly, who answers the phone, and we can answer any questions, do a phone consultation. They're also welcome to go to the website, and that is www.kalypsowellness.com. And they're also more than welcome to email me as well, and it is jennifer@kalypsowellness.com.
Well, David, Jennifer, thank you so much for letting the folks know if they need help. They have a place to go to now at Kalypso Wellness Center in Shenandoah, Texas, for Montgomery County. You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio here at irlonestar.com. We got great music coming up.
Thanks for checking out this podcast of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. If you enjoyed this recording, make sure to check out our past shows online at irlonestar.com or their respective video or podcast formats on YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. If you have any questions regarding the show, either it being about sponsorships or questions for the host, contact the station manager at dick@irlonestar.com or call the station at 936-647-3776. This show was recorded in downtown Conroe, Texas at the Lone Star Community Radio Studios, and Lone Star Community Radio reserves all rights to this recording and images.